Hello everyone and welcome to another video in our Road to the World Champs series. This video is going to be slightly longer because we did miss last week's because we were at a convention all weekend and were absolutely wrecked at the end of it. But also we had a massive bit of news drop recently, and that is the confirmed players pack. So now we know exactly how the tournament is going to run. So we're going to try and smash through as much as possible in this video, but we'll see where we get up to. So firstly, last weekend I ran the PMTT stall at a convention. The convention was about 2 hours away, so it was a bit of a drive to get there, set everything up, but it was a fantastic weekend. There were 2 days of tournaments right behind us, but it was great to just get out and chat to people in the community to see what everyone else is doing, what everyone else is up to, and get some feedback on our product lines as well, which was awesome. So we're definitely looking at a few new things, and we've got some other bigger conventions in the future that we're planning as well. So that was really good. In addition to that, we had the full players pack drop. But before I get into that, what have I done in the past 2 weeks to prepare for what will be probably the biggest Age of Sigmar tournament that I have ever attended? I have not done much, unfortunately. I've played a couple of casual games of other games with some friends, just as a bit of a palate cleanser. But I've only played a single game of Age of Sigmar. That was against my mate Jono. He had OBR. I was running my standard Sylvaneth list that I've been practicing extensively. And unfortunately, it really didn't go to plan. I had a bit of bad luck at the start with some dice. But then also I just made a couple of questionable plays. That was kind of intended because I did kind of want to see how it played out. Whereas at recent tournaments I haven't been making those plays. I've been going this kind of the safer, smarter plays. Whereas I've been finding in my casual games that I'm taking kind of those more risky plays. I think it's just to kind of subconsciously so that I kind of feel out how those situations are going to develop. So if I do need to pull the trigger on a risky play at a tournament, I kind of have an understanding of how it's going to go. So just playing that bit risky. Jono played really well, didn't make any mistakes. It was a really good, clean game, and he took it fairly confidently. So, but that was really the only game that I've played. Apart from that, I've just been kind of reading through various reviews, listening to podcasts, kind of listening to what else is kind of out there in the meta, what else is doing well, and just refreshing my knowledge on all the different intricacies in the game itself. So that's reading through the core rules, reading through the season rules, even just reading through all the different army books so that I kind of have a pretty good understanding of what everything should be, and I don't have to rely as much on questioning my opponents during the game. So that's where I'm kind of where my head's been at. And then we got the players pack. So I only got that a couple of days ago, but I've read through it a couple of times, and it's really interesting how they have done it all. So the biggest thing is because this is going to be an absolutely huge convention, they're going to have over 350 players there from 45 countries, which is absolutely insane. It's actually going to be over 4 days. So it's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all absolutely jam-packed with gaming. So on the Thursday and Friday, the first 2 days, what happens, at least for the Age of Sigmar pack, it's really the only one that I've read or care about, everyone gets split up into these pools. So each pool is about 26 people, and how that works is the first 2 days, the Thursday and the Friday, are basically your stock standard 5-round event. So I'm assuming it's Swiss pairing. They haven't specified that in the players pack for the pools. But basically you go through and you see how you do in your pool over the first day. Now this is where the draft players pack and the final players pack differ. In the draft players pack they did specify that it is possible for you to drop a game in that first pool and to still get through to kind of the next section of the tournament. They haven't specified that in the final players pack, so I'm not sure if they've just crunched some more numbers and they found that it's not actually possible, or if they just didn't want to confirm it so that people kind of don't get antsy if they drop a game and expect to get through. But what happens then is on the Saturday and the Sunday, they then split the field into kind of two distinct sections. The top 8 players go into the championship bracket, and then the rest of the players go into the world's bracket. So in the world's bracket, you play another 3 games, so 2 on the Saturday and 1 on the Sunday. And what that is for is that's for kind of your overall standing throughout the entire tournament, but then also they are giving out awards and prizes based on countries as well. So those games will still count for your country's tally as well, which is cool. It's a nice little extra thing for the various communities to get behind, and they've got a long list of kind of how that all works. Basically, it's just kind of your best results from each of your events. If you're kind of playing in multiple, or your country is across, you're sending a lot of players. They just kind of take the top cut, your best results, and that gets added into your overall tally. So it's a cool extra thing, but it's not something that most people are going to be focusing on. The other bracket is for the top 8, and that is the championship bracket, and that is the best of the best. So they then go and they play another 5 rounds over the next Saturday and Sunday, which is absolutely crazy because that does involve extra death matches as well if there are ties that go into the I believe the last round on Saturday will be starting at 8 o'clock at night and running until midnight. So it's definitely going to be a massive endurance test for the players that get to that point, which is awesome as well. Like you know that if you're in the championship bracket, you're among the best players in the world, and then if you do well in the championship bracket, you are definitely one of the best players in the world, and so that's going to be a huge achievement. But then they play through between 5 and 8 rounds in that second day, or on the second kind of section on the Saturday and the Sunday, and that determines the overall undefeated out of everyone. So, what they've got there is that players will play between 8 to 12 games of Age of Sigmar over 4 days, which is fantastic. It'll be plenty of opportunities to meet other members of the worldwide community, which is also going to be ridiculously awesome. I'm so pumped to meet the other players that are going over for it. And then at the end of it all, they have a massive kick-ass awards ceremony. So what I've been told by some of the people that have been to similar tournaments is people just go absolutely off. So really looking forward to that as well. Even just to be there, I'm not planning on getting an award. I want to do as best as I can, but I am aware that there will be some absolutely exceptional players there. So, but just to attend something like that is going to be amazing. So what they've got is, for at least for the AOS, they have kind of 2 awards that everyone's fighting over. There's Best Overall and Best General. It's really interesting that they've done Best Overall and Best General, especially with the way that they've done the scoring. So how the scoring works for Best General is fairly straightforward. It's whoever places the highest in all their game scores. So I'm assuming, based on the number of rounds and the number of people and some quick calculations, that there should be 1 undefeated at the end of it all. And if that's the case, then that person will be winning it. And if there's only 1 undefeated, there should be 2 people that have only dropped a single game. And then those people should be second and third for that award. The other award is really interesting. So the Best Overall is made up of 2 types of points. Basically, it's your wins divided by 8 and your painting score divided by 85. Add them together, and that's your overall score. So this is really interesting for a couple of things. Firstly, the fact that painting and wins are essentially even when it comes to the overall score, because for the painting, you can score between 50 and 85 points. Basically, the 50 is you've done the bare minimum battle ready quality, but it's all painted, it's all there. What they've got is they've got a couple of extra special caveats that you can use to get up to 85. Your army would need to be absolutely exceptionally well painted to get the 85 points. Looking at my army, I'm assuming I'm going to be getting around I'm hoping for mid 60s, or around that point, because I know there are some absolutely amazing painters out there, and they're going to be getting some real experts in to judge it and to talk about them. So, um, but it's really interesting that it is basically an even split between the two, and it's something that very much took me by surprise. I assumed it would be more heavily weighted in terms of generalship, and for your gaming points to kind of be worth more than your painting points. I also expected there to be a sports component, which caught me off guard, specifically because the list that I've been practicing is more designed as a more interactive list. There were a couple of other lists that I was considering taking that were a bit stronger. Mainly a Seraphon one that I did really like the look of. But it wasn't a very fun or an interactive game for any of my opponents. And I assumed, incorrectly as it's turned out, I assumed that there would be a sportsmanship component if there was a with the overall points. Um, that's what the local Games Workshop Championship store that I play at occasionally has. They have kind of a 50-25-25 split between battle, painting, and sports. And I kind of assumed that it would have been the same. So, unfortunately, I'm kind of much too practiced with the Sylvaneth list, and I haven't really touched my Seraphon properly very recently. So I'm not as confident with them, despite it being the more powerful list. So I'm going to be sticking with my Sylvaneth, but it'll be really interesting to see how it all plays out. Yeah, so I'm a bit disappointed about that. I'm very surprised. There's really, apart from one paragraph just stating that they expect everyone to be a fair and a good player, there's no real mention of sports throughout the rest of the document either, which also was a bit strange from my perspective, because usually you want to make a kind of being a Games Workshop tournament, you would have expected there to be a kind of a higher emphasis on sports. So that's interesting as well. But yeah, those are the awards. That's the scoring matrix. That's how the rounds are going to work. I'm immensely looking forward to it. It's going to be an awesome week. I'm getting there only a couple of days beforehand, and I'm basically leaving the day after. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to hang out with many people for too much before or after the event. But it is very much a whirlwind trip. I've got a lot of other stuff on, a lot of stuff that I'm looking forward to. We're going down to CanCon this year as well. The next CanCon, so next year, as well as we're expanding out our flagship tournament as well at PMTT, our Contest of Fools event at the start of April. So that's all looking amazing on the horizon. But first, I'm going over there and I'm going to do my absolute best. On the kind of the cards coming up over the next couple of weeks before we leave, it's only, I think it's about 3.5 weeks now before we go. The biggest thing I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be trying to get in reps with my list and just try and really fine tune it and be as experienced as possible with it. But also I'm going to be touching up all the paint jobs now that I know that painting is scored so heavily. Definitely just going and putting that extra bit of effort, just cleaning up some of the blends, cleaning up some of the highlighting, really just putting in that extra step that will hopefully net me some extra points, and it might increase the standings overall. So, but that's me for this time. I'll talk to everyone end of next week. See you guys next time. Bye.